What if there was one thing holding us back from achieving many of the goals in our lives? What if one little shift in our mindsets could help us achieve more and lead us down the road toward accomplishing our goals? I recently read and made a video on a chapter called Becoming a Student in Ryan Holiday's book, Ego is the Enemy, but it was such an applicable and timely chapter for my own life that I wanted to make part 2 on the chapter. Holiday's main thesis in the book is that our ego is what holds us back from reaching our true potential and from accomplishing many of the things we set out to do. Our egos, Holiday tells us, rushes to the end. It rationalizes that patience is for losers, and it wrongly sees it as weakness. Our egos assume that we're good enough and we can make it big in the world. Our egos tell us that we don't need feedback, that we have it all figured out, or that we are way better than we actually are. But it's that small voice that tells us we don't need to learn anymore, or that we are good enough, that holds us back from reaching our true potential. One way to silence our egos is learning to seek out critical feedback. Now, the art of taking feedback is an essential skill in life, particularly harsh and critical feedback, because we not only need to take this harsh feedback, but actively look for it, to seek out the negative precisely when our friends, our family, and our brains are telling us that we're doing great. The ego avoids such feedback at all costs. The ego thinks we already know how to do things, that we already know who we are. Epictetus, a Greek Stoic philosopher, reminds us that it's impossible to learn that which we think we already know. Epictetus reminds us that we will not find the answers if we're too conceited or self-assured to ask the questions, and that we cannot get better if we are convinced we are the best. So once again, our mission is to silence our egos, to lay aside any pride that we may have and take a step of humility to seek out instruction. One more tip in silencing the ego that Holiday leaves us with: to become what we ultimately hope to become often takes long periods of obscurity, of sitting and wrestling with some topic or paradox. It takes hard work and a humility to learn like we never have before. This isn't popular, it isn't easy, but to be great, it's going to take a lot of hard work. So on our road to growth, we are always learning. And the good news is that today, books are cheaper than ever, courses are oftentimes free, and access to teachers is no longer a barrier. There's no excuse for not getting our education or to ever stop learning, because the information we have before us is so vast. Our teachers in life are not only those we pay, such as high school or college teachers, but many of the best teachers are free. They volunteer because, like you and me, they once were young and had the same goals we do. Many don't even know they're teaching. They're simply exemplars or even historical figures whose lessons survive in books and essays. But ego makes us so hard-headed and hostile to feedback that it drives any of those teachers away and puts them beyond our reach. There's an old proverb that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Well, let us silence our ego, become a student, master our craft, devote ourselves to it, and never stop learning. If you like this video, subscribe for more content and let us know how you are becoming a student. Thanks, and stay tuned for more.